Hi, welcome back. I wanted to remind us all that we're not really talking about the princess in this story. Rabbi Nachman's the lost princess. We're talking about the viceroy and his mighty efforts on behalf of the king. We might recall that in the story, the viceroy had three requests for the king. He saw that the father, the king, was very pained that his daughter was gone, and he was going here and there looking for her. The viceroy stood up, for he saw the king's pain. He requested a servant, a horse, and money for expenses, and he went to search for her. He searched for her for a very long time until he found her, and now we will tell of how he searched until he found her. But in the previous chapter, we learned that he had hoped his show of anger and the terrible statement he had uttered would frighten his daughter into sober awareness of how badly her appreciation for their relationship had waned. Interesting word, sober awareness. So often we're apparently not soberly aware. But again, the majority of our story is devoted not to the princess mentioned in its title, but to the viceroy, his mighty efforts on behalf of the king. And this is our story, our journey through life. It's, in a way, our inner child, and the search is not as important as the search for the inner child. The inner child existed at a certain point in time, and that passion that child, that innocence that child had, in some ways cannot be reclaimed, but the journey towards it, a progressive victory over the estrangement, is what is the most important. It's therefore necessary to explore the viceroy's inner essence and the element he represents in the story of our own lives. And also, so where does he come from? And what is really the role? And ultimately we'll end today with from whence comes the energy for him to do this search. So throughout the writings, the tzaddikim stress that every Jew, regardless of his or her spiritual standing, has a point deep inside that is spiritually pure. No matter how removed one may become from holiness or how badly one has sinned, that pilot light continues flickering, ever defiant. Much like the sole jug of oil found among the rubble of the Beis HaMikdash during the times of the Chokamim, of the Chashmonaim, the time of Hanukkah, this inner point remains ever untouched by any level of impurity. When a Jew encounters this essential core of his identity, it enables him to rededicate his inner temple and reignite the flame of his passion towards serving Hashem. Well, how can it be that I and every Yid is a tzaddik? The Sfarim HaKiddushim, the holy books, refer to this element in different ways. Some tzaddikim call it the Pintele Yid, in Yiddish, the point of Jewishness. Others refer to it as the Chelek Elocha Mim A'al, the portion of God above. Rabbi Nachman of Breslov famously calls it the Nikuda Tova, the drop of goodness. In his magnum opus, Likutei Moharan, Rabbi Nachman writes, and even when we encounter one who is completely wicked, we must search and seek within him to find some tiny drop of goodness in which he isn't wicked. How else do we find ourselves at a 12-step meeting? We have some sense that we can't go on the way we are, and there must be something in us, some connection that can bring us back, some desperation, even if we're not aware of it. This untainted portion of holiness is hinted to in the inner Yaakov, within which Hashem sees no iniquity, as it says. It is this element that enables the prophet to refer to every member of our holy nation as tzaddikim. Ishayahu says in Isaiah 60:21, and your entire nation is righteous. And the second half of the verse states they will inherit the land, the Eretz, forever. In the deeper Sfarim, the deeper books, Eretz is a reference to the Sphira of Malchus, so land, this world. Thus, this verse can be understood as hinting to the viceroy's eventual success in locating and freeing the lost princess, that eventually we will inherit. So, the Breslovers teach that this element is within, but The term for the viceroy is worth going into. In the Sheni le Malchus, literally second to kingship, as how he's actually termed, and this connotes the sphere of Yesod, which is positioned directly above Malchus. In essence, it is the funnel through which all the spiritual worlds, the lower sphirot, are channeled, and the bridge, therefore, to Malchus, this world. And it's worth going into this a little bit for today. This midah is bound with the concept of the tzaddik, as the verse states, "V'tzaddik yesod olam." The tzaddik is the foundation, the yesod of the world. Additionally, the Gemara Shabbos 156a states, "One who is born on Yom Shishi, Friday, will be a seeker." The day associated with the sixth midah yesod. So we go through the days of the week, starting with Sunday through the Sfirot, and then to Shabbat is this world where we bring the spiritual into the physical, the essence of Shabbos. And this is where we find the energy of the ever-seeking point of holiness within. The Pentele Yid, or as per Rabbi Nachman, the drop of goodness. When this essence that brings us back home, that keeps us searching. In fact, Joseph, the biblical figure who serves as the chariot for the midah of Yesod, is referred to as Yosef HaTzadik. This is the deeper meaning of the verse. Pharaoh had him, Yosef, ride in the chariot of the second in command. That's from Bereshit 41:43, Genesis. The viceroy is the Sheni L'Melchich, Midas Yesod, the tzaddik within. Mordechai HaTzadik, in this Purim story, became the Mishnah L'Melech, the second in command as well. So what happens when I hit bottom? The connection between the sphere of Yesod, the viceroy, and Bris, the Brit, circumcision, allows us deep insight into a fascinating teaching from Chazal. Chazal state in Menachos 43b that when David HaMelech went into a bathhouse and saw that he stood without tefillin, tzitzis, or mezuzah, he said, "Woe is to me, oi, that I stand naked without mitzvos." But then he remembered his brit milah, his bris milah, the circumcision, and he was appeased. The Gemara is teaching us that even when a person is sunk in the depths of spiritual rot, devoid of all mitzvos, the aspect of Bris, Yesod, Viceroy, never leaves him. The inner flame of holiness remains ever flickering within. This point of hitting bottom, at which I feel restless, irritable, and disconnected from my essence, from my inner child. This is ever flickering, and will bring us back home if we but allow it and open just a door with it. So, there's more to this. We want to go into what are the dangers lurking within the Yesod, what we need to watch out for, and how this is manifested in today, our postmodern world, as it were. What's different today, and how can the promises, my hope, manifest in a vision for today that will bring me back in line with my inner child, connected to the lost princess, and through the process of tshuva in steps 4 through 10, it's made possible. Thank you very much.